just like that, they buy it. They eat it up. You pander to them, you thank them. I mean, really, people, I thought you were a little bit smarter than that. I mean, it's just so easy to say the name of the city. You cheer.
Hey, Stephanie,
you cheer. I mean, just come on.
Welcome to the A Show.
They say this is a big rich town. I just come from the poet's part. Bright light, city life, I gotta make it. This is where it goes down. I just happen to come up hard. Legal or illegal, baby, I gotta make it.
I never took a straight path nowhere. Life's full of twists and turns, bumps and bruises. I live, I learn. I'm from that city full of yellow cabs and skyscrapers. It's hard to get it started.
All right, and welcome back to the A Show with the Kings of Pro Wrestling Podcast. I am Justin, here with Meelz. We are in episode 96 of the A Show. 96 weeks.
96 weeks, man. That's longer than when WCW was on top, apparently, according to all these historic books and shit like that. I don't know what 96 stands for.
We're way past 86 weeks.
Yeah, we're 82 weeks, I think. I don't know. Whatever. We're way past that.
It was 82 weeks.
I think it was 82. There's a whole podcast dedicated towards that kind of content. Yeah, man. Welcome. We're back. It is, geez Louise. We're living in, I think, this world, or at least the Earth currently right now. I don't know what we're going through with, like...
It's a war. It's a wrestling war.
It's a wrestling war. There's a Sony and Disney war. There's a chicken sandwich war. There's... It's legitimately... I don't know how much longer we're going to survive, to be quite honest with you.
The chicken war is going to tear us apart.
The chicken war is my favorite one. It is legitimately...
I've never seen white people, black people, Asian, Spanish, Hispanic, Latino, all fighting over chicken.
You know what's crazy, though? If the chicken sandwich wasn't good, people would not be fighting over this. I'm sure of it. It's a good sandwich. It's the Roman Reigns of sandwiches. It is just good. People want to hate it, but they really can't because it's a good sandwich. It's a good sandwich. Listen.
Yeah. Last week was powered by this sandwich.
100% powered by the sandwich. I don't know what this week is powered by. A couple weeks ago, we were powered by Red Bull. Last week, the sandwich. What are we powered by this week?
This week is Cheetos Puffs.
Oh, okay.
I ran right in the house.
Jesus Christ.
Stayed a little bit later at work to put out a couple fires before I started. Ran right in, kissed the old lady, and said,
"All right, old lady."
I'll be back. And I came in here and we did the show.
That's always
We're doing
fun.
the show.
That's always fun. Abandoning your, significant other for a podcast. For me, that's always
just
fun.
To hang out with you.
It is what it is. I love it. I respect it. What else is up like that? I felt like I had more things to say in the beginning of this thing, but then I forgot. But yeah, it's a crazy world out there. Listen, we have a lot to go through this week. A lot of things have changed in the landscape of professional wrestling. A lot of things have changed on the landscape of WWE. A lot of things have just changed in general. Changes what we're going through, and I think the No Holds Barred this week definitely reflects that.
Yeah, absolutely. Let's get right into it on No Holds Barred this week. We've been speculating this for a very long time. And as the wrestling schedule landscape shakes up, we've had another shakeup as well. Like you and me, Meelz, we are still trying to figure out what we're going to do post Smackdown on Fox.
No, we have no idea what we're doing. This is insane. If the people have a great idea, listen. If the people have an idea of when you would like to hear us with Smackdown now airing on Friday and Raw airing on Monday, and a bunch of pay-per-views in between, and NXT on Wednesday and AEW on Wednesday, and Wow Wrestling on Friday and Impact at midnight on Saturday morning. Please let us know.
Let us know. Yeah, let us know. We usually record this show on
Wednesday night.
Technically, the end, quote unquote, of the main wrestling week, so to speak. And now we've got 2 shows that will be airing on Wednesdays that are of importance, both live, and also have, SmackDown on Fridays, Raw on Mondays. Let us know what to do. I think the only person that's safe here is MJ.
Yeah, MJ's fine. MJ's fine. This is very low stakes for him. He's good. If anything, this enhances the show. So make sure you listen to the call up and make sure you stay tuned because, quite frankly, the way, and really this is the centerpiece of our news this week is this bit of news surrounded around NXT.
Absolutely. NXT was announced. Well, it was actually funny because a lot of people thought it was going to get announced on Monday, and a lot of people had egg on their face when nothing happened on Raw. NXT was announced on Tuesday morning that it will be moving to the USA Network on Wednesdays at 8. New 2-hour, 2-hour live show straight from Full Sail with NXT. This is freaking huge. This is what we've wanted for years. I think that, we've said it. MJ said it. A lot of people have said it. This show, the roster has just gotten so big that 1 hour couldn't contain it. I remember saying to somebody this week, like, I felt as though the NXT TV was like, it was in some ways like compartmentalized. It was like 1 hour was this, and then you got another hour, and it felt like the second hour of the show.
Well, a lot of programs are definitely staggered throughout depending on the week. Like there'd be 1 week you'd see Shayna Baszler and then you'd go 2 weeks without seeing her. And then you'd go, then you have to pick up like a Bianca Belair program in the middle of nowhere. And that doesn't really go anywhere until after the next set of tapings. And it's so much staggered. But I think with this big move of NXT coming to the USA Network, 2 hours live every week from Full Sail, by the way, I think Full Sail, if there's any real winners from this, it's the people of Full Sail. Those rowdy 600 folks who attend that damn school, who get to see this live show every week. It's a live show that's not going anywhere. You get to see it every week. I feel like it's free.
No, it's not. It's actually gone up. The prices have gone up. The prices used to be around, I believe, $30 to $50. Now they're about $100, $120 just to get into these tapings. They are now the hottest ticket in Orlando. And, this also comes off of what I consider probably the most brutal stretch of NXT tapings that was like that 8 weeks before the last takeover that aired 2 weeks ago.
Right.
Where you went weeks without seeing Gargano, you went weeks without seeing Adam Cole, you went weeks without seeing Shayna Baszler, you went weeks without seeing Matt Riddle. Right. It was just insane.
Because at the same time, yes, this is a third brand that they'd like to say, but it's also a developmental brand that would hope you want to give opportunities to the people who have been working hard for it in the PC. So at the same time, it's like you want to see, it's not like Raw every week where you can definitely see a Ricochet every week. You can see an AJ Styles every week. Man, you don't even get to see Shayna Baszler every week, but NXT on USA, she's prime time, fucking.
And to be fair, I don't think we're going to be seeing Dan Matha on NXT on USA either.
I mean, you might get a Dan Matha. I mean, I don't even think is he still Dan Matha? He might be. I think he's like Dorian Matthews or some shit like that now.
He might be, but I mean, just it goes to what you just said that like, just kind of like the good and the bad of it. It's like the bad is that like a lot, this was developmental a long time ago, where a lot of people could get that practice. You would see a lot of people just being jobbers, to the new talent or some of the talent that they're building.
Right. You're
going to be seeing probably a lot more of those types of matches and probably a lot less of the people developing. Like this brand is built on essentially on its indie stars that they've signed, and indie and abroad overseas stars that they've signed. And that's your Io Shirai's, that's your Matt Riddles, that's your Kushidas. These are the people getting front and center. And I think that's awesome because, I mean, essentially NXT is like a super indie that's going to be airing on primetime television.
Well, it no longer it no longer has that indie feel, right? I mean, they're on mainstream, they're on network television. You can catch NXT while you're boarding a plane or on a flight from, LA to New York or something like that. Like you can watch NXT now. You don't have, it's not something that's like sneaked away like a very network type of deal. Now it's like you can legitimately watch it, and they'll probably have reruns on Telemundo or wherever the hell they have it on. It's crazy.
And to be fair, it's still going to run on the same Hulu schedule, and it will also air on the WWE Network the next day on Thursday.
Thursday at 8.
So they don't run with the same schedule that Raw and SmackDown do, where they have to wait 30 days before they end up on the network, which is a major reason why a lot of people just who skip these shows like probably don't go back to them because they got to wait 30 days to watch it. Now it's immediate.
Right. So it's Do you think, and I'm looking at the good and the bad going into this, and trust me, there's a lot of good because it's
A lot more than bad. A lot more good than bad.
a lot more good than bad. Do you think potentially? I'm just throwing this out there, sort of a bad situation. Do you think it could possibly lead to an oversaturation of professional wrestling, or at least WWE? Especially when you've got we're gonna hit WrestleMania week, and we've got 6 days out of 7 is WWE programming. You got on pay-per-view weeks, it's like 4 out of 5 or even 5 out of 5. You get Takeover on whatever Saturday, then you got pay-per-view on Sunday, Raw on Monday, SmackDown on Tuesday, NXT Wednesday, and before you know it again, it's back to Friday SmackDown. So
I used to say that this wasn't a problem because with NXT tapings, like tonight's taping, I know what's going to happen. I don't feel as though it's an essential episode. I'm not going to watch it, right?
Right.
With now I don't know what's going to happen.
It's live.
And it compels me to watch it. It depends. To me, honestly, it depends on what show's hotter. Like if all 3 shows are working on all cylinders, which in a lot of ways during Mania season, they will be.
Yeah.
And we're going to be watching all 3 of these shows.
Right.
But like if Raw's kind of weak, we'll do what we did before and just run through it and, watch it on YouTube, which is what we did for like 4 months.
It's an interesting situation because I think with WWE, it's a fantastic situation if you get a third brand, and especially probably for USA Network, who wants to, they're losing SmackDown to Fox, but still wants to have that live programming that, that they love so much and that's done so well for their entire thing. I'm not sure what other shows that USA has because,
None.
the Chrisley thing ain't going as well as it used to. I'm telling you that.
They have, I think someone counted, they have 4.
Suits is going off air. I think there are other shows. Yeah.
It's all fair.
I think Suits may be done. I think there's another show that they have that's also done.
Queen of the South isn't done, but it is reoccurring.
What's that robot show?
Mr. Robot ends this fall.
See, so it's like they don't have a lot going on for them to sort of manage to get NXT, and especially they're not paying $1 billion that they paid for SmackDown, but it was a hefty sack of change.
And it's being said that NBC Universal paid around upwards of 30 to 50 million for NXT, and it's like, again, I put this back in the good pile.
I've heard. To me, those speculations, those numbers have gone up. I've heard anywhere it's like now I'm seeing like headlines of like close to $100 million,
which again, good for NXT. You get the talent gets a raise.
Right.
The talent can do different venues now. Video packages will look more spectacular. They can do a lot more production wise. They can do there's so much. They can
pay those Full Sail interns now instead of having them. Those poor. So here's the thing. It's at a school. I'm just imagining the fact that you look on your bill for school and you got the $60 live attendance, live show fee or something along those lines. And you're just like, what the fuck am I paying for NXT? Through my tuition? This
is that true?
No. Oh. I'm oldie bullshitting. That's my thing for tech fees. I used to hate tech fees on my bill. But I can see the possibility of fans getting exhausted of professional. NXT is a different brand, so it's kind of different. It's not sort of Raw and SmackDown, but then again, for instance, they're live. Doing a live show, it requires a lot more elements going into it, and it requires a lot more rehearsing, and it requires a lot more things. It kind of takes away from the element of NXT that we love, especially considering everything is taped, everything is pre-planned, everything is kind of figured out way in advance, and now it's off the fly. Now we kind of see where these people...
Their house shows aren't like that, where they practice the matches. They're not like that. It's essentially like that. They'll be.
But I'm talking more of the backstage stuff. When you have a live show, you're doing all the backstage stuff, and a lot of them are pre-tapes as opposed to going live.
They can still do that.
But then it's not cool because it's not live.
What do you mean? We would never know. If it was pre-taped earlier in the day, we'd never know. They could technically still do that.
I'd know. I feel like I'd know. But
you would not fucking know.
I would know.
We just had
Adam Cole ain't showing up live from the back of a truck. I would know.
We just had a conversation a couple weeks ago about how we didn't know if the Mandy Rose Sonya Deville fuck up was live.
I think it was live. Why would
I
they
don't
leave
think
that
it was
in?
live.
Why would they leave that in?
Who knows?
Why would they leave the F up in if it wasn't
Here's
live?
the thing. People don't love NXT because it's taped and it's highly rehearsed. They love it because they get to see their favorite indie guys go against their other favorite indie guys.
This is true. So,
No one loved it for being developmental. Like, in fact, there was a time, and you know this, that no one watched this show. And honestly, to be fair, people still don't watch the TV. Like, this is a net positive for the TV. This is going to get me interested in. We're doing this show right now. When it's live, I'm going to be like, all right, we got to get this over. I got to watch NXT with everybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, we're going to be all able to watch this show together. Well, actually, no, on the West Coast is gonna air later for me. So yeah, you'll have already seen it by the time we do this show.
Will I have seen it? Because also the challenge airs at the same time these damn wars go on. Listen, I'm watching as the Wednesday night wars are going on. I'm watching the Challenge War of the Worlds too. So I'm not even gonna front like I'm watching NXT. I'll probably be watching NXT the same time as you. I hope they replay it instead of, I don't know what they air on Wednesday nights on USA Network.
Nothing.
Talking Stone Cold, whatever they air, but Miz and Mrs. They air Miz and Mrs. a lot, by the way,
and that's another one of their reoccurring shows. That again is part of, like, WWE or USA is the WWE network.
They taking over.
That's what it is. But you just mentioned the war, the implications against AEW for this move. We knew that there was going to be a shot. We knew that there was going to be something bigger than a promo, something bigger than anything, and something bigger than TakeOver being the same night as another show. Like, it's something bigger than that. This is, to me, the response in a lot of ways. Like, okay, you can say, yes, USA needs more programming. That's true. That is fair. You can say they need something to bolster their ratings overall, and, and adding a second show isn't a bad idea. You're right. I think NXT will do pretty good numbers, at least in the beginning, at least in this first 6 months. But I think putting them against AEW in as many homes as they have there, and as many homes as USA Network is in, I'm not really sure of the numbers, but I'd say like that puts a lot of pressure on AEW. I'm not gonna lie.
So here's the kicker. Here's as the kids would say, the gag. They're starting 2 weeks before AEW starts. That is the kicker. That is, you're starting 2 weeks. You're in homes a little bit before then. You're getting people more accustomed to before. It's essentially Eric Bischoff starting. I mean, it's not essentially. It's similar. I don't know if it was very influential, but Eric Bischoff starting Monday Night Nitro at 8 o'clock or like 8:58 or whatever the hell it is. Like, it's essentially kind of one of those. You have those 2 weeks pretty much free, and then you're getting everyone accustomed to it. And then guess what? I'm pretty sure WWE is going to build up a show for that October 2nd show. So
I said it, like, they have tapings that were finished that are supposed to run through the 13th, I think. They could scrap whatever creative they have for that, and then within those 2 weeks build up for the October 2nd. Well, obviously the first show is going to be huge.
The first show is going to be huge, yeah.
So then you build up to another show where you could realistically do a Gargano Cole.
I mean, that's exactly what I'm thinking. Gargano Cole, October 2nd, to be honest with you.
You could do a Shayna Bianca match, a Shayna Io match, anything. You could do any of those things. USA will promote the shit out of it during the WWE can promote that during Raw and make that must see for all of the casual fans that don't know what NXT is. And they could do a whole. Yeah.
No, you're already going to know that's that major week to be watching WWE programming, because guess what? 2 days after that, SmackDown airs on Fox. Yeah. So they're covering all bases. They're going to be doing major promo. They're going to be doing a lot of major things. If I'm AEW, man, I mean, to be real with you, I saw a lot of jibber jabber over the last couple of weeks. I haven't seen that much lately. Not with this announcement. The announcement, everything has been kind of surrounded NXT and just the excitement around NXT. And it's like, oh, these people finally gaining
get opportunity.
Yeah, get the opportunity to show what they are on a national stage. And you get people like Mia Yim, and you get people like,
Kushida, Gargano, the Undisputed Era.
I forgot all their new names and stuff like that. But you even new signee Austin Theory. He's someone who also will now be on a major stage. Like, it's kind of crazy to think that the entire landscape has once again shifted into this sort of quiet, dull area, and how silent it kind of was. We saw the shots thrown by AEW. this to me is not really a shot, but it's more of a flex.
It's a flex,
A
and
major flex.
It's a like, let's see what you can do. Let's see what you're gonna do with that. Because I'm sorry, a show with a bunch of new guys, to me, is more enticing than a show with a bunch of old guys from Attitude Era, in terms of Jericho, and a bunch of unproven guys that people have never seen.
And those NXT guys, they're the perfect people to sort of respond to this AEW show because they're hungry out of anyone. On weekends, they're the ones competing with the WWE main shows. The NXT takeovers are constantly competing with WrestleMania, constantly competing with SummerSlam in terms of, and they're winning by honestly. It's just depending on kind of what you like, but they're the perfect type of people you can really put a fire under them and really bring out the best of the brand on NXT on USA. And Triple H is at the helm of it still, so I think it's all good, man. Like this is amazing news. This is amazing news.
They're going to bust
if AEW moves to Thursday, don't be surprised. I'll be honest with you. Thursday Night Dynamite might be a thing.
I'm cutting the promo on that day. All right. Next up on No Holds Barred, Bray Wyatt's the Fiend character was reportedly being toned down to be more family friendly. How do you feel about that? Actually, I mean, within like the last couple hours, maybe like day of me putting this on the call sheet, Bray Wyatt said it wasn't true.
I'm wondering where people get their information from. That's kind of what I'm wondering from. But it's I wouldn't see, there are definitely some situations where people are like, okay, let's tone this down. It's going a little bit too far. I don't think WWE has had to really tone down anything over the last decade. Like, I think they're in a different type of space, especially now they're kind of occupying like a little bit more TV 14. It's kind of a little bit more racy. You kind of got a little bit more things going on.
Here's my thing though. You saw Bray. I highly doubt we're getting Bray Wyatt matches on TV. Let's be clear.
No, I feel like we're going to get one on TV eventually.
Not in the next, I'll say 5 months. Not in the next 5 months.
Really?
No, I don't. I think we'll see him wrestle again at like a network event, a pay-per-view, where there won't be as many, there won't be as many eyes on it. I think they're going to be very smart in how, because the lantern alone pushes it to TV 14 territory, like that lantern is intense. That's not a PG lantern.
Right. I mean,
and we just saw him on Monday. Like it was the same shit, just without the entrance.
I feel like at some point they're going to get him to wrestle on the main show, but I see where you're going with all of this. I think, even if they were to tone it down, I think it would be a mistake. I don't think they're toning it down. I think it's really nothing to really tone down. It's not really super risque. This isn't anything that you wouldn't see in the movies. This isn't anything that you wouldn't see on TV shows. This isn't anything that you wouldn't see on TV. It gets worse on TV. I don't know if other wrestling people change the channel once a bit, but it's worse out there. The Bray Wyatt, the Fiend, isn't something that really needs to be toned down.
No. And I don't think it is being toned down. So kudos to Bray for clearing that up quickly. And shame on you, Brad Shepard, or whoever the fuck reported that.
I heard he just got worked on Twitter by Rusev.
Yeah, I saw that. He needs to just hang it up at this point.
Hang it up. Clothesline. Come on. You saw I did that? It's a little wrestling joke.
I
but
like,
it's also a Nicki Minaj. Okay.
New York sticks together, I see. Next up, Stephen Amell, who has just ended his run on the CW show Arrow, is set to star in a new show on Starz titled Heels.
What is he?
He's already been tweeting to AEW guys that they could be on the show.
Of course.
Yeah, of course. I'd love to see Cody act
on Starz, man. I mean, you know what? It's not bad. Power's going off air. We might have a little bit new flavor of the month.
I'll check it out.
Yeah, I'll support a wrestling in other parts of media. It's not the worst thing on earth.
If it could touch Glow, which I haven't seen season 3 of yet, then you'll definitely hear us talking about it on this show. For sure. I need to watch Glow. Have you seen it?
No, I've watched episode 1.
Was it good?
It was fair. It's a continuation. I haven't got into the the thrill,
the nitty gritty,
the nitty gritty of it. The first episode was surrounding. I'll tell you, it was surrounding. It's weird. It was surrounding. You remember that spaceship that exploded?
Yeah, Sputnik.
No, was it?
Was that Sputnik?
No, it definitely wasn't
Oh,
Sputnik.
Apollo. No, it wasn't Apollo.
Something is one of those. It's surrounding that. So
Okay,
little history, I guess.
bro, I don't remember no history. They're
But
about to cook me for this.
no, you're fine. You're fine. But I think it was a good lesson in terms of just like even in tragedy, kind of like the show must go on in some sort of aspects. But Stephen Amell, hey,
He loves wrestling. He loves wrestling.
Go off, white man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I got nothing
can
for him.
remember. I can actually remember. You know who clued me into this show was coming?
Who?
Wale clued me into this was coming
Huh?
a year ago.
Huh?
And I was like, he was just like, yo, like, I want to get in on this. And I was just like, I don't know. It depends on who they're going to cast on it. And he was like, yeah, you're right. I was just like, I just don't feel like they're going to give people like the right deal on this.
Right.
And then they cast Stephen Amell in it. And it's like, I'm waiting for the Vince McMahon.
I'm waiting for that Chris Benoit shit, man.
No, you're not. I want to watch that.
I want to watch because you know what? I don't want to say that I'm like glorifying it, but I definitely find all the events surrounding it and the coverage surrounding it, and more so the aftermath than the actual events itself, very, very interesting. And I kind of want to see how it's really gone down behind the scenes. I think it's a story that kind of needs to be told, but it's a story that's like, it's a cautionary tale, especially for someone like the NFL, to be real. Like, it's a cautionary tale and sort of that. I think it's a story that needs to be told. But yeah, once again, Stephen Amell, go off, white man. Come on.
Yeah, get the bag, whitey.
Okay, I didn't say that.
You added this last one on here. What is the story with Sheamus? I know you're a Sheamus
going
fan.
on with Sheamus? I'm okay on Sheamus. I'd say I go every 3 years. I kind of flip flop on Sheamus. There'll be times where I'm like, okay, I dig what Sheamus is doing, and then most of the time it's like, get him off TV. I don't care. But what is the story with Sheamus? He hasn't been on since WrestleMania. I mean, Sasha Banks returned before him. Is it a notable injury? Is he ever coming back? Is he retired? He's in his 40s at this point. He still looks good. Reportedly, he's dropped like 40 pounds.
He looks great.
He looks great. I mean, you watch the Celtic workouts and you kind of see like, yo, he's actually very charming in an Irish kind of way.
Whatever that means.
Yeah, I mean, yeah. He's very, very charming, but it's still like also like, he has a lot more to offer. I think he has a lot more to offer. I think if you put him into the scene, like imagine a Sheamus versus Ricochet. Like I think those matches would be cool. I think we haven't seen the landscape has changed around Sheamus, and we haven't seen him kind of interact with a lot of people. But I think he should. But I'm interested in what's going on with Sheamus. What's going on with a lot of people. Rusev, Leo Rush, a lot of people.
You know why? No, don't even say. You know why Leo Rush not on TV.
I know why Leo Rush is on TV. But what is the status? What is the status? We haven't had a good
Sub-Zero, Frozen.
We haven't had a spring cleaning or like these.
They're not going to do that.
They're not doing that anymore. All right.
No, there's another company out there. If it was just like, the indies, their ass would have been gone.
Right, that's true.
If it was just the indie, they were like, all right, bye, go to Impact. I don't care. Like
right.
They didn't care. Like
everybody re-signing for the bag, man.
Yeah, well, I don't think Sheamus wants to go. I think that there might be some truth to like maybe he might be, he might not be able to get cleared.
Mm.
I think there might be some truth to the injury or the serious injury rumors that we heard a couple months ago before Mania. And then they won the titles, and it was like, okay. And then they lost the titles.
Well, there you go.
I think there might be some truth to that. I really do. Like, I would not be surprised if there's a story where it's like, Sheamus can't get cleared. I'm not saying I know this out of, any type of knowledge, but I think, that it's no reason why he's not there. He's not done anything bad or done any bad press. But if you're not going to use Sheamus, then why the fuck aren't you calling Luke Harper from home and bringing him in on these shows? Like, that's what I don't understand. Like, there's people that can actually go that are not being used. Like, Luke Harper is sitting at home. Why?
This is true. Because they don't want to give AEW the bag. I don't know. We'll see. I thought we'd see Luke Harper a lot sooner, like this week, but we shall see. Are you ready to get into some hot takes?
Let's go. Let's get into some hot takes. We finished up July, last episode.
Yes. So we've got a lot of recent hot takes. So please keep submitting them. Week by week. We got a lot more. I'm actually trying to remember where we left off. It's not as easy to mark on Google Sheets as it is. But let's see. We got another wrestling hot take from Black Air Forces, but blue laces is what this says. Okay, it's a little bit more dangerous.
Way more. Can't wear those in a certain neighborhood. Shit.
Wrestling hot take. Don't nobody give a fuck about a return because the man almost died or retired, whatever the case may be. Wrestling is subjective, and I see wrestling fans make light of Chris Benoit, a murderer, by the way, with no troubles. So people want to say GOAT God Sasha Banks' return was better than it just was.
Hey, that ain't even a hot take. That's facts.
You saw the views, right?
Yeah, I saw. I'll bring a tweet
views.
back up.
4 million
to
views.
Like what? 300K?
Oof.
Come on, bro. Get it. Come on. I wasn't even talking about. Again, I wasn't even talking about Shibata's almost dying. I think Shibata is a spectacular wrestler. I'm sad he's not back.
Right.
But his return, if it was a return, it wasn't that hot. Keep going.
Their non-wrestling hot take is Paige neck got taken away, and this has nothing to do with wrestling, but holy shit, the girl has to be a bigot. From associating with the Nazi to her transphobic, racist, and homophobic boyfriend, she also laughed and deleted when her boyfriend called this black girl a man. Why does Paige surround herself with such problematic?
It's so crazy. Like,
just bad situations. Good girl, bad situations.
The movie makes her look real. Like, have you seen Fighting with My Family yet?
No, I have not.
So like the movie like makes it seem like mad wholesome, and I can definitely tell there's holes in that shit because obviously it's a movie. But like,
and The Rock made it.
He's in it for no reason. Speaking of which, late fees, Dwayne Johnson episode on Friday. Yeah.
Okay, I'm in.
Yeah. Yeah. You know what? I'm not gonna dispute that. I think that I don't know if I go as far as to say she's racist.
No, she said her boyfriend is racist.
Oh yeah.
That he's been causing problems on the internet. Like she needs to. I wouldn't say. I mean, she gonna do what she does anyway because she's Paige. But at the end of the day, I think she needs a better sense of judgment when she picks the people that she's kind of been around with. A lot of people have. It's always bad. A lot of people are going to criticize anyway, and I understand that. And whatever you do is going to be scrutinized, especially when you're a public figure and you have a large amount of influence. But at the same time, it's like you also got to understand, like these people aren't necessarily saying this without reason, without just for not. There are just things that I've just seen from her boyfriend online that I'm just like, really, my guy, like, so maybe she needs to pick better people around. How do you feel about her photo shoot in the neck brace?
It's like you ever saw that one picture that floats around Instagram, or not Instagram, but floats around Twitter every so often, where it's like this naked girl and like on train tracks. And it's like, yo, get naked on these train tracks.
Oh yeah, I remember.
That's what it looked like to me. I mean, Paige has been doing goofy shit for years. I've stopped giving her benefit of the doubt. I've stopped giving her country. I think a lot of people give her a lot of like. I think people coddle her still, like on social media. Where it's like she's been through so much, and yeah, the Del Rio shit was trash. Like it was a terrible toxic relationship. But it's like, if she keeps going back to the well and doing shit like that with trash people, what am I supposed to say? She's an adult, like that's what she's choosing to do. So What I got to say about that? Like, Paige might be trash. She's 75% trash. I'll say that. How about it?
I wish her the best. That's all I can say. We have another wrestling hot take from Slat Riddle.
Hey, I like that.
Sasha turning on Natty in the middle of her speech about her dead father is the most disrespectful heel turn of the year.
What have been the heel turns this year?
Not a lot. Heel turns. I don't think any have been as impactful as Sasha Banks. Sasha Banks turning heels like one of the best things ever. But
Kenta.
Shit.
Sure. I feel like Dean was November, wasn't it?
Dean was last year. Dean was definitely last year.
No, that's so crazy. No one's turned heel.
Yeah.
Or Kevin Owens, but we knew that was happening.
Kevin Owens, yeah, well, I mean, he turned face. Let's say that.
Well, he turned heel first. He turned heel first.
Oh, yeah. That's right. Yeah, he did.
We knew that was coming.
Very big show, like. Yeah, not a lot of heels.
No, I'll give you that. Sasha, it was.
Yeah, not a lot of heels. Was Shinsuke this year? Shinsuke was kind of this year.
It was last year.
No, it was this year. Rusev won the title on Christmas.
And then Nakamura got mad in January.
Yeah. And then they became some sort of weird team. But yeah, I mean, we'll talk about him.
I didn't even remember that. So yeah, Sasha wins.
Their wrestling non-wrestling hot take is so much fun. The album is greater than The Wizard by Future.
As a futurologist and slime myself, I love both albums. I'm not gonna. I'll plead the fifth on that one. I can't choose. I love them both.
Yes, plead the fifth. We have the next one from HBK John Michaels.
I love these fucking names.
These people are great. Sami Zayn return has been so underwhelming, and turning him heel was an incredibly short-sighted move and a big mistake. He could have been on Smackdown teaming with KO and taken on Shane and Elias by now. How do you feel about a potential Sami Zayn face turn? Do you feel like that would have helped his career out?
Shit. We're going to talk about Sami and Nakamura a little bit later. I think it's on the way. I'll say that.
I think so, too. His non-wrestling hot take is Isaiah Rashad is the most underrated rapper right now. He'd have to be rapping for me to say that. I haven't heard much from him, to be honest.
In 2 years, I think.
But I do like him. But yeah, he's for some reason he just got to pick it up. Let's do last one for this episode. We'll do more as we for the next couple of weeks. Name the Bryan Show. Shout out to my guy.
He's followed us for years, man. He's a cool guy.
He says, non-wrestling hot take, Cody Rhodes destroys AEW from the inside by booking himself to be a world champion for a year plus. Now, will he go the Jeff Jarrett route?
I don't see it. I don't see it. I don't see him doing that.
If not him, then who?
If he goes Dusty, that'll be crazy. I can see Jericho being the champion too many times before I see Jericho doing it. I can see
Cody Rhodes building himself up as like just determining that this company needs a hot face and I am the one. That would be actually worse than him being like the evil heel champion. Him being like the face, the scrappy sort of under, executive who's coming from under and who's building himself up all the way through and becomes champion would probably be like more like vomitrocious to me. I don't know.
I mean, I could see it. I just don't know if he'll do it. Maybe I'm being too naive again.
Yeah, maybe
a little bit.
Non-wrestling hot take: Popeye's chicken sandwich is overrated. Get out of here, sir. It is.
Nah.
I think you know what? I'm beginning to think not all Popeyes make this thing the same. Maybe they're not frying it as well as they fried mine. I don't know. Maybe it's a little bit different, but it's tasted good. I've had it 3-4 times now. It has tasted good every time.
I've only had it once. Well, because in California, we don't have Popeyes with the drive-thru.
Right. Oh, excuse me. People can't walk into... Oh, my God. You're not too good to walk in a store, are you?
Nah, man, it's hot out here, bro.
Oh my
It's
god,
real hot out here.
Oh
It's
my
dangerous,
God.
bro.
You make me sick. All right. Let's end the hot take. End the hot takes for this week. More hot takes next week. Keep submitting them. We love hearing all you guys' funny names and hilarious hot takes, and just what you guys think about the world of professional wrestling. Let's get into
next week. Next week we need your. I want NXT hot takes.
NXT hot takes. That would be nice.
What do you think the main event? Give it your hot take main event for the October 2nd NXT live show.
Oh, but now we're booking the territory. That's mine. Stepping on my toes. But all right, you know what? We got it. Let's do that.
Let's get to these shows and wrap this thing up. Raw, really enjoyable show. I think one of my favorite Raws. Raw for the past month has been pretty good. I'm not gonna lie.
I didn't look forward to this. From the things that were announced beforehand, Jerry Lawler talks to Sasha Banks, Rey Mysterio has an announcement, etc., etc. I was just like, I'm not looking forward to this shit. This looks like a by the books Raw. Beyond by the books, really, really good. Had some good wrestling in it. Had some good stories in it. Had some things I didn't predict happening. Overall, I agree with you. Really, really enjoyable show.
What I have to say is that, like, they, again, like you said, for a show we weren't looking forward to, they really tightened it up. They seem tighter. Like, I almost feel like SmackDown was longer to me on Tuesday than Raw was on Monday. Like, I felt as though Raw kind of moved at a really nice clip.
SmackDown dragged a little bit, in some areas.
But and I think that's because SmackDown's carrying the weight of a really large story through the show.
Yep.
But I really did enjoy Raw on Monday. Let's just get from the top. Braun and Seth are WWE's hottest new duo. Beginning of the night, Braun was scheduled to face AJ Styles. Of course, that didn't happen, which led to Paul Heyman's greatest trope, his favorite trope: tag team champions that don't get along.
We saw it in ECW. We saw it in SmackDown. Remember the SmackDown 6 era, Benoit and Angle? We saw that. I mean, tag team champions that don't get along. It's like it's his MO. It's
as soon as he said for the tag titles, did you know that they were going to win?
Yes, 100%. 100%. I never had any doubt in my mind that they would lose that. And people who are complaining are like, oh, can't they do this to the club? Like, they're gonna win it back. Like, relax.
Well, not only that, like, people complaining, the crowd fucking loved it.
I agree.
The crowd fucking loved it. Like, they loved it. I love the way that it ended. I think that, again, I was not in on Seth Braun. I didn't know how they'd stretch this out. I thought he'd turn on him or something like that. And essentially, they're doing a slow burn.
Yeah, it's rare that WWE has a ending to a show that leaves you happy, yet also leaves you asking questions. Yet also, it's just like, you got a great match out of it. You got a kind of great result. You kind of had the story that's building that we're not fully sure what's going on, as of yet. It's rare to kind of do that. Usually, for the last decade or so, they've been ending the shows, and you're kind of like, I guess we'll see what happens.
Baron Corbin on top again.
Baron Corbin all right, we'll see how this goes. I guess I'll watch. I mean, I'm not watching next week, and then you end up watching next week anyway. But Braun and Seth, how do you feel about this program thus far? How do you feel like it's? Are you anticipated for this match that may potentially happen? I mean, it could be. What I'm seeing is they're going to double book them both at Clash of Champions.
Yeah, that's exactly what I was going to say. I either that or they'll lose it the night after, or they'll lose it the night before, or the Raw before.
I think it's a great look to double book him at Clash of Champions. You give your face's adversity while at the same time pitting them against one another. You get them familiar with them, and then you put them in the show, and you have that opportunity where they could potentially lose the titles, and then you build in that own same night. It's like the animosity for that main event even grows a little bit longer. I think it's a great story.
I think that there's also the potential that, like, they retain the titles and Seth retains the title that night, and then Braun turns the next night or something like that, and then something weird will happen there. I hope that doesn't happen. I would actually rather them lose it sooner than later, but I'll see where this plays out. As far as how excited I am for it, I thought Monday was cool. I thought it was really good. You saw a little bit of the cocky face Seth there that I could see that would rub Braun the wrong way. And I think that Seth plus big dude is a really great match combination, and I think he's one of the best people on the roster that can do that combination, as we've seen a couple of weeks ago with Brock. So bring it on, baby. I just don't want it to go too long, you know?
Seth Rollins breaks another records, Grand Slam champion.
Again.
Has become the person who has the most double champion reigns in WWE history. I think that's a statistic that WWE didn't. I don't know if they picked up on, but he's someone who won the WWE Championship and U.S. title. He's won the tag team titles and the Intercontinental title. Now he's tag team champion and WWE Universal champion. Like, if he was Roman, that's all I got in my comments when I saw this. He was like, "Oh man, if he was Roman, people would be sick right now." Like,
oh well,
I would be.
I like the double title look.
Yeah, I like it.
That's a cool look. I've always loved that look.
Listen, and it's all red. Listen, come on,
man. Whole lot of red.
Lot of red. Oh my God.
Next up, we spoke about this earlier on this episode, but Bray Wyatt, as The Fiend, showed up and killed Jerry Lawler. And what I thought was a really good flowing storyline throughout the show was, when is Sasha going to talk? Which, we were thinking that she was going to get wasted. And once again, the show subverted your expectations, or it subverted mine, it subverted everyone's expectation, and got Lawler the fuck out of here. The first thing we hear on the show is Lawler on commentary, because Corey Graves was out this week on vacation in the Bahamas with his girlfriend. But we get Lawler the fuck out of there within the first 45 minutes of the show.
I think that's so, it's storytelling that's also like, 100% your fans, and that people don't really want to hear and or see Jerry Lawler. But they've been doing this thing where ever since that, Raw reunion, they've been trying to sneak just some legends on Monday Night Raw and, on SmackDown as well. But your fans really don't want to see it. So guess what? You bait them, and then you send out The Fiend. You give him something to do. He knocks out Jerry Lawler. You get Vic Joseph.
Who was spectacular.
You think so?
He was way better than fucking David Otunga on Tuesday.
Oh yeah. Oh, for sure. I mean, but that's not fair.
David Otunga with what did he say? Jackalete?
Oh,
Jackalete? What did he say?
I don't remember. Oh God. Yo, David Otunga is still getting a check though. Like, imagine that. You know how long Nexus was?
And he got the kid.
Turn up.
We are the prize.
Come on.
We are the prize.
Come on.
Okay.
But yeah, The Fiend did destroy Jerry Lawler. I loved it. I mean, I thought it was great. I love the fact that Jerry Lawler, he saw the lights flicker. He was like, I know what this is. I'm out of here.
Yeah. I thought that was a really nice touch. I can't lie. Some, like, most people just sit in the ring. I like the writing there. It was like, they're not going to just stand in the ring. He's going to go up. And it also did, again, protecting that entrance, protecting that aura, like having Jerry go up the ramp so you don't have Bray actually walk down. I like the way they protected him. I have no complaints about The Fiend right now at all. And I didn't think that I'd ever say that. I wish they bring back Firefly Funhouse, in between. But other than that, I think it's cool.
It's all right. It's cool. I'm digging it thus far.
Let's talk about this. Oh, I'm sorry. You want to say something?
No. I got nothing.
Rey Mysterio segment, really good.
Really,
probably his best. Probably, I thought it was his best promo ever.
I never thought he was going to retire.
No. I thought he was going to get. I thought he was going to get beat up. And then when Dominique comes out, you get a really, from what I understand and what I felt, and again, like fathers and sons, that type of story that always gets me. That's the type of thing that'll always kind of strike a chord with me. So like I thought it was really cool. It was really effectual, and I thought it was real more than anything.
It hit me like season 5 Fresh Prince. That's how I feel like. Just those
That's cool.
Emotional story. I mean, I liked it, but at the same time, it's just like, I don't know. There's something about it.
It could have went hokey if they stayed on it for too long.
Yeah.
But I think no. It could have went hokey if Dominic was out there too long. luckily they give you the context with Ray's promo, which was really well scripted and well written, and it felt like he was actually saying this, or he actually would have said this. And then you got to the Dominic part, and then you got the hug at the end, and I thought that was really sweet.
I don't know. I think they could have milked it a little bit more. I don't know. It would seem
Milking,
but here's the thing, though. You have a star like Rey Mysterio, former world champion, legend, and you have him retire backstage in an interview with Charlie Caruso. Like,
well, no, they never said it was the retirement speech.
But he's considering retirement. You have that announced there. Like, Kurt Angle announced his retirement in the ring. They had video package. They had people saying you suck, all that other stuff. Like, and you have Rey Mysterio kind of like, I'm just thinking, I just want to, my career, I've lost to Andrade so many times, and his girl is so fine. And
wow, it was never said.
It was never said.
Rey Mysterio get the top notch.
But yeah, it was very, very interesting to see how it was done. I want to see where this goes. Where the hell does this go? Where does this go? The rumors have been Dominic gets in the ring. He has been training, as a professional wrestler. So that's the rumors, but also like, this seems like a very big setup. It seems like a David Flair situation where someone who's clearly like way in over his head.
But it also makes me think, like, did Ray come back to get his son a job? Because that's what it seems like to me.
He may have. You got to keep it in the family. I think Dominic was secured anyway, but we shall see. We shall see.
The Sasha Banks thing, which, hey man, again, I really like the way they weaved her throughout the night. Where you get the interview segment and then you think she's over and it's done, and it's not. I really like that. It's very Paul Heyman. I will say it's very Paul Heyman way of booking. But WWE has a really interesting dilemma with Sasha. I remember saying earlier this week, I would just rather her not say anything and don't address it at all. And that's what they did here on Raw. Of course, since Jerry Lawler was out, they had Sasha there waiting. And so she did the promo backstage with Michael Cole questioning her. He asks her why she did it. And of course, he doesn't, really express what he was talking about. But she starts talking about her hair. Mm. And then when he mentions,
by all means, Sasha, I don't think we care about your hair.
Yeah, but excellent fucking question. Or excellent rebuttal, Cole. I like that. Turn up. So again, actually before that, the Becky Lynch promo.
Becky Lynch promo was incredible.
I
thought that was, to be honest with you, I thought that was one of the stronger parts of the show. Just having her, she's not doing much these days. Granted, that's pretty good. She's been running pretty hard for like the last 6 months.
Yeah.
But that promo was everything. That promo was the reason why she is where she is now. It's like those type of like scorching promos, not leaving it on Twitter and things like that, but really leaving it in the ring and leaving it on the mic, in the ring and things like that. That is why she is where she's at right now.
And I think that they're again interesting dilemma because everyone's like, how long are you going to keep these two away from each other? Again, it's week 2. They had no contact, but they're orbiting around Natty. So in a way, they're babying Natty again to get Sasha over as a bigger heel. It's working. I will say that much. Like, people are starting to boo Sasha. But how did you feel about the line later on in the show when Natty is giving a promo about Sasha and her actions, and Sasha beats her up and says, "See you in hell, Natty," or she said, "Go to hell, Natty, and tell your dad I said hi," or some shit like that.
I don't know. I feel like this is some shit that Sasha would do just to be real with you. Just from her previous run as a heel. She's a very despicative, disgusting, doesn't really know where the line is drawn type of heel. She's the one who makes what's-her-face, that Bailey fangirl, cry in the front of the audience, pulls the thing off. She's the person who, instead of, taking a great victory, just decides to like beat the shit out of Bailey and leave it up for count out. Like, she's a jerk. She's 100% a jerk. This is top 10, turn up to 10 Sasha. It's weird because in some instances it seems to be like people are disgusted by it. In some instances, it's not. They could have avoided it. I think they could have had the same result without it there.
Yeah, honestly, you're right.
Like they didn't really need it. I'll say, let's say, I would say, you know what? Let's leave dead family members out of this entire thing. How about that? I feel like it's just not that I'm completely disgusted by it, but I just feel like if it's not necessary, instead of us just using it, it's kind of cheap. Sasha really doesn't need that sort of cheap heat to really go on and things like that.
Yeah, just beat her up. It didn't get her more booze.
Yeah, it didn't get her any more booze. Like, you know, it is what it is.
So there was another really strong segment on Raw. I don't even know if you want to talk about this. The Kofi New Day Orton Revival segment I thought was really fucking good. Even for, you know, and it started from a Revival versus New Day match on Raw. Out of nowhere, one of the cleanest RKOs I've ever seen. Catching Big E out of nowhere. Randy interrupts the match, causes the DQ. They beat the shit out of the New Day and beat up Kofi and make him watch as he breaks Xavier's leg. Xavier was great here.
Yeah, I mean, a little milking of it, you know, it is what it is.
Whoa.
I mean, yeah, I mean, it was great. Don't get me wrong. It was great. I thought the entire thing, you know, I think probably the most, the best thing about it was how kind of well choreographed everything was. From Randy Orton to come in to the Revival kind of being by his side and sort of building that sort of dynamic, that aspect. They're even starting building like, yo, Randy gave us these snakeskin boots because he's the Viper or some bullshit like that.
It was a gift. That thing they said was a gift for what they did last week.
Yeah, gift for what they did last week, et cetera, et cetera. I love the RKO on Big E. Once again, yes, comes out of nowhere. Kofi Kingston, who no one thought would be there, ends up being there and ends up getting in on this beatdown. We're continuing to build this sort of level. I think, you know, this is all leading to Hell in a Cell. Clash of Champions is just this feud does not end or is not decided, is not anything by Clash of Champions. This feud is 100% decided by Hell in a Cell. So to me, instead of this being, we're 2 weeks away from a major pay-per-view, we're like really like 5 weeks away from the, you know, the big match.
You know what's interesting? At some point, Randy would have to win the belt and then Kofi get it back, right?
Would he?
Well, because like I'm thinking of Survivor Series and who Seth is going to face because I don't see Seth losing the belt. I'm thinking of the next Big Four.
Yeah, you know? But you know,
the next of the Big Four shows rather.
If there's anyone I see losing the belt, it's Seth Rollins.
To who? Not to Braun.
It may not be to Braun. Maybe to some schmuck. I don't know.
Well, Braun seems to be his program for the next 2 months.
I mean, we'll see. We'll see how all this goes down. I don't know. I just can't see. I mean, Kofi could lose. Don't get me wrong. We could reach Hell in a Cell. Hell in a Cell is where I'll give the result where I really, really think about if Kofi could lose or not.
Because I mean, like Seth and Randy for the champion versus champion just does not hit the same to me.
Fuck no. Oh my God.
Yeah, like I think Seth and Kofi would be a good champion. It'd be definitely a really work rate heavy match, but there's got to be a big name that or something big they're waiting on or holding off on. And this isn't to say like that Seth couldn't lose in between. I just don't think it'll be the Braun.
Interesting. No, you might be right. You might be right.
I just think to make that feud hotter, Randy has to win the belt in the 1-on-1 and then have Kofi beat him in a match where he can't get help, you know? I don't know. I'm just something to think about. Just something to think about.
Why not?
King of the Ring started on Monday. So much shit happened on Raw. The King of the Ring almost felt like an afterthought at one point to me. But I have to say, I felt the Raw King of the Ring matches weren't as good on both shows. One of them ended with fuckery. But I thought that the Andrade Apollo match was a lot better on SmackDown than Joe Cesaro was. But of course, moving forward in the King of the Ring, Samoa Joe does advance in a pretty good match with Cesaro, and Cedric Alexander pretty much squashes Sami Zayn out of the territory. It doesn't even seem like he's on fucking Raw anymore after this loss.
Yeah, to the surprise of no one, he beats Sami Zayn
in 2 minutes.
It's legitimately the entire clip on YouTube is the match. It's insane, but it is what it is.
We would figure out why on SmackDown,
and then we'll have to have a conversation about that. But I'm not mad at Joe and Cedric advancing. Cedric is a great player. I think he needs to go the distance in this tournament. Joe needs a win, to be honest with you. And Cesaro is kind of like a low stakes. You don't really need to like protect Cesaro or anything like that. He's kind of like a low stakes victory. So I'm not surprised. But King of the Ring did continue on SmackDown as well.
Let's get to SmackDown. KO and Shane continues in the King of the Ring. There was a storyline all throughout the night about Shane taking away the $100,000 fine that he put on KO. And it pretty much ended the way that I predicted it would end, with KO losing in the first round to advance the storyline. Yeah,
I mean, he loses with chicanery. Shane McMahon is still very much so alive on SmackDown, very much still involved. As much as WWE has tried to, I think, get away from these authority figures, it seems like the Shane McMahon is really the only one that really, truly works at this moment. Nor should I think anybody else. I mean, I think if you have Stephanie McMahon also floating around in this, it kind of takes away from what Shane McMahon is doing. But the whole Kevin Owens and Shane McMahon thing, it's getting better. I think with it getting a lot more nuanced and a lot less, I'm beating you down with Drew and Elias every week, even though it was Elias this week. I think it's getting a little bit more nuanced. I think they're hitting it from a different point. I think they're hitting it from a level of where people can actually relate, especially when your boss finds you, if that ever happened to you or something.
I mean, this ends where it ended 2 years ago in Hell in a Cell.
I would hope so. It's got to end eventually. This has gone on longer than I thought. We thought it would end by SummerSlam.
Yeah, it's ending at Hell in a Cell. I think that's how you get rid of Shane, is that you put him away in that match. That's pretty much the way I see it. I think there might be like a Elias KO match that happens, but you don't want to have KO tied up in King of the Ring and beating people that he shouldn't be beating. Just get him out of there. Just get him out as quickly as possible. There are new guys that deserve that spot. Andrade Apollo. Andrade, of course, again on a crazy run right now.
He's just win. All he does is win right now. It's really good.
I'm thinking that we're going to see Ricochet Andrade finals.
So what does the winner of King of the Ring actually get?
I don't know.
It's not a title shot.
They could, but they could announce that at any time, Meelz. You know that.
I hope so. I mean, it would suck if they announced it after the first round is already in and no one realizes it.
Here's my thing. It's like, I feel like they're going to go to Ricochet Seth. I think that's why you take the U.S. title off of him.
I think
obviously to be in King of the Ring, there's no champions in King of the Ring, but yeah.
I really have no idea where they're going with this King of the Ring. It's a lot of guy. I mean, it's great if they go with Ricochet. I'm great if they go with Andrade. I'm also great if they go. I think my pick is probably still Baron Corbin, which is weird, but it just is.
He was on Raw, and we didn't even mention him. They didn't even make a big deal out of him.
I think because you have
Jinder Mahal fear. You have Jinder Mahal fear right now.
Nah, I think they have. They were having that tag team match. They just need something to fill up the time. And they were like, "Listen, we got these two other guys. They're in the tournament. Let's have them have a tag team match." And then they next week.
He got pinned. He got pinned in that match.
I mean, that's not the end all. Who's he facing in the first round?
He's facing The Miz.
He's probably gonna win. To be real with you,
he's not gonna win. Because look at the bracket. Who would The Miz face if? I think he would face Ricochet if Ricochet wins.
The Miz?
Yeah, I think so.
I think they're gonna go with Baron Corbin versus Ricochet.
Nah,
we'll see.
I don't. I really don't. I think the Baron Corbin thing is over.
I don't know.
I really do.
I don't.
How did you not know? He hasn't been on TV in a month.
Not that I don't think it's over, but at the same time, it's like I'm not discounting him from losing. Yet at the same time, it's like going back to the well. Like Miz is the established face over a decade, things like that. They're continuing to like Baron Corbin is like the right now. I mean, I'm not saying I actually am saying he's going the distance, but I don't know. I mean, he could not win.
You're not gonna have Baron versus Drew. That's not happening.
I haven't seen the thing, but the brackets. I don't have it in front of me, but
it's next week is Miz, Corbin, Ricochet, Drew. You're not having that happen. No.
Well, let's see how this goes. Because I'm sure people don't want to actually see Drew McIntyre versus The Miz in the second round.
Well, that's not going to happen. I think Ricochet's a shoo-in on the Raw bracket. I think Andrade is a shoo-in on the SmackDown bracket. Just looking at, speaking of which, Buddy Murphy, I think something's definitely going to happen there with him in this tournament. Daniel Bryan versus Buddy Murphy. Man, how hot was the internet during this match?
I mean, he works in heel one week, he works a face the next week. They have a pretty good match.
Bryan putting over the new talent too.
Daniel Bryan has been very much so giving. He's been giving it all. He's put over the other parts of New Day. He's put over Kofi Kingston. He's put over
Heavy Machinery.
He's doing it all. He's really, really doing it all. I mean, he's in backstage segments threatening people. Listen.
What did you feel about Big Rich Town this week?
Listen. This is a big rich town. You know, I just come from the poorest part. That's all you have to remember. I feel like this entire thing, the ending of it threw me for a loop. And them building up this entire video package for this feud gets longer and longer every week. By the way,
they don't have to go all the way back to July.
At some point, this is going to be like a half-hour series, and they're just going to play it on YouTube. It's like a playlist of the entire Daniel Bryan Roman Reigns thing. But it's getting more interesting. I love the character that Daniel Bryan is. I love that he's really bossing up on people and be like, listen, I know who it is, and I know who it is.
The reveal in this episode is that it's some dude who looks like Rowan.
Here's my thoughts on the reveal. This is where it stopped being a big rich town and it started being a little bit more of this. Hold on. It started getting a little trapped in the closety. It started getting a little bit more, he pulls off the rag. And it's a guy who looks like Rowan.
I love the shot of Roman just reacting for like a minute.
I think that's a legit reaction. I swear to God, it was like I think he had no idea who was under that.
Roman's like, what? Huh? And then it fades to black. I liked it this week. I know a lot of people were pissed off that people actually thought this was the end. I was like, are you guys that dense that you think this is the end of this fucking story?
They were not born in the Attitude Era. Remember that Smackdown where Stone Cold leaves Triple H in the room with the rattlesnake?
Oh, yeah.
And then he comes back on Monday like, oh, man, I have to give up the title. Got rattlesnake bites all over me and shit like that. And then it ends up being makeup.
Or the choppy or pee-pee.
This is an ever-going story, and I like it. I like that every week. It's just something else for me to look forward to on SmackDown of just like, where is this nonsensical feud gonna go? The fact that Roman is just left like, huh?
We're all left like, huh?
At the end of SmackDown, and it's just like some dude. Very, very funny.
Next up, Sami Zayn. He has a new purpose. So we get a Miz TV, strangely enough, or Miz doing double duty this week.
USA Network, baby.
where Sami is basically saying he has a new purpose. He has to fight for something. And he brings out Shinsuke Nakamura, who he is acting as his manager now. It seems to be Sami's new role. Before you get to this, Meelz, I think that people are overreacting a little bit too much to this. I think this will eventually lead to Sami. I think we're going to get Sami Shinsuke 2 here, or 3, whatever. I think we're going to get it again.
Maybe down the line. I think, to me,
Shinsuke needs it, honestly. Like, if they're going to keep this title on him, he needs this.
This is so weird because I believe Sami Zayn is on Raw. I believe The Miz is also on Raw. Shinsuke Nakamura is just like, now I have a mouthpiece. This is looking a lot more like Rusev Day than anything, with the guys singing Shinsuke's praises and Shinsuke just kind of being the champion who sort of kicks ass. Here's what I think. I think this ends up with Shinsuke turning on Sami.
That's what I'm saying. Like, Sami's gonna... Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Sami's going to become a face.
How do you feel like he feels about this? Essentially now, it's less of a wrestling thing. Now it's more of a talking thing. I mean, that's kind of been his shtick for the last couple months, but now it's kind of like official. Now it's kind of like he seems more now this Leo Rush kind of role, this Aiden English type of role, than actual like supporting the actual real life wrestler.
You're putting him in a role that I don't think the company sees him at. I think that they've put him in really important positions before to make other guys look good and to make other guys get over or attempt to get over. I mean, I'm not to, I'm speaking on the Bobby Lashley thing from last year, but I think that, like, I don't know how he feels about this. I can't say how he feels about it. I know that there are a lot more things in his life that he cares about a lot more than wrestling. Mm-hmm. And that being his philanthropic. Yeah, like his endeavors there have been way more important to him than wrestling. So, like, I can't say that he probably feels any type of way, shape, or form. I think that he's had a great career. I think that he's had a great career in the WWE too. I think that, like, at the end of the day, like, wherever he needs to fit in, he fits in. Right. He's just gonna fit in. Like, I'm not mad at this. I thought the segment was like strangely not that hot on TV. I didn't feel like a lot of people. I feel like a lot of people were confused by it. Yeah, honestly,
it's very much so confusing. Quite honestly, it's very, very confusing. Is why Sami Zayn is on Miz TV. Why he's now pairing up with Shinsuke Nakamura. Why Shinsuke attacks the Miz like sort of an attack dog. Why all of this is happening. It's all very confusing. None of these guys are on the same show. Except maybe Shinsuke, except maybe Sami and Miz. So it's like, it's very confusing. It's very, very confusing. But they've got time to make it make sense. # make it make sense.
They can tighten this up next week. I mean, it could potentially see us with Shinsuke working twice on a week. So we'll see if he shows up on Raw next week. Last thing on SmackDown, we got the official announcement. The first match announced for Clash of Champions is Charlotte versus Bayley. Going back to the well here, we knew it was going to happen. You called it, Meelz. Title match. What do you say?
Sure. I mean, sure. Why not? Yeah. Who else?
No one. No, they beat Ember back down to the mid card last week. I thought that she would have at least still been in it. Nope, not at all. Really, really enjoyable segment, I thought, between I feel like these Alexa segments are so fucking long though. Like, I try and DVR them fast forward them, and they're so I'll be like, oh, 3 minutes, it's still fucking on. But
they love the shit out of Alexa.
They love her. That's why I'm like, Nikki is rich forever. Yeah. Like, as long as she's next to her, she's rich forever, bro.
Well, as long as she's next to her.
Yeah. Well, I mean, she's a hard enough worker that I think it'll. But I think the biggest takeaway I see from this is that the biggest women's programs on these two shows have to do with the 4 Horsewomen.
Of course.
And because of this, now all the other women are pushed back again.
Is that the narrative that's going around?
Well, it's not even a narrative. It's like clear on TV. Like, the only women's program we saw on Monday was the Becky Sasha Natty thing. And the only women's program we saw on Tuesday was, we saw the women's tag match. I'd say Alexa's probably like an honorary member of the Four Horsewomen anyway, so there you go.
Yeah, she's kind of
and
like...
then
yeah.
She's like the fifth horse. She's like the Magnum TA of the Four Horsewomen.
This is very true. Except that everyone hates her. Well, at least Sasha hates her.
Sasha hates her.
But, I think it's very, very interesting. Charlotte versus Bayley. I wouldn't say very, very interesting. This should be a by-the-books match. By-the-books match, by-the-books feud, by-the-books sort of everything. I would be surprised how most things move forward from here. Once again, I think the SmackDown Women's Division needs...
PU.
Yeah, needs a little bit more. Needs a little shot in its arm. It potentially needs, a little bit of Liv. Or are you pissed off a little bit of some Liv? The Liv Squad?
How did I piss them? How did I piss anyone off? I didn't even do nothing. All I said was I thought she was pretty bad in NXT, and I think she got better on the main roster when she got around Ruby and Ruby who could actually work.
Listen, when keeping it real goes wrong, my friend. Just,
I just pissed people off for nothing. I was like, please get these people out my mentions, bro.
Listen.
It was so fucking crazy.
Liv Squad is heavy.
But yeah. Anything else you want to talk about?
Not really. Not really. I would say, can we might as well just plug all our, great RNC stuff.
Oh, yeah. We had a really busy week here on RNC Radio. Follow us at RNC Radio Live. Of course, subscribe to us. Leave us a comment. Please leave us a comment on RNC Radio's Apple Podcasts. I'm sorry. And the A Show's Apple Podcast. Leave us a comment. Leave us a review. That really, really helps us out. Please, please, please do so. This week we had so much stuff dropping. We had So Help Me God with myself and Pafif talking about the HBO show The Righteous Gemstones. Really funny episode. Really informative episode as well. We also had a very special episode of the Perfect Play podcast with Reese LaFleur. Huey does talk to Reese LaFleur. Really good interview with a lot of great insight on his life. We also had the finale of the G Show, which came out last weekend, talking about what was next or what's next for New Japan after the G1 with myself and Cyrus. Look out for spot callers coming in about a week. And you also have late fees coming this Friday with Dwayne Johnson, which I mentioned earlier. We are going to rip him a new one. Because I had to watch some very terrible movies this week, and I'm very not happy about it. So yeah, did I miss anything?
Oh, The Rock is rich. I'm sure he doesn't have to listen to what you said. Please stay tuned for a new episode of The Lookout next week, where we'll be going over the anime that is My Hero Academia Season 1. It is my pick for this week. Last episode we had Jeff's pick, which was Hunter x Hunter. This time we're going My Hero Academia Season 1. So make sure you tune into that, and make sure you tune in My Hero Academia. Also next week, which should be the episode that should be coming, another episode of Mount Silver. We'll be going over the Gen 3 games. That includes Pokemon Ruby, Pokemon Sapphire, Emerald, Fire Green, Fire Red, Leaf Green. All the games, including the remakes. Make sure you stay tuned to that. It's all coming up next week on the RNC Radio Live feed.
All right. So until next time, thank you guys for listening to the A Show. We have so thankful for you guys. We're a couple of weeks away from episode 100. Stay with us for this ride, and we will try our best not to disappoint you guys. Send in your hot takes as well. We'll see you next week. Peace.
The champion is still black, y'all. Peace.